I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Stephen Colbert, despite vaccines becoming more available, there's still one thing holding Americans back. Americans. Because at a CBS poll, a third of Republicans said they would not be vaccinated. Come on, Republicans, not everything is political. How do we convince you that you want it? Would you feel safer if the vaccine was administered by an AR-15? That's going to win the day. Colbert, many of the Republicans polled cited distrust of government as a reason not to be vaccinated. They worry the vaccines were produced too quickly. Duh, it was produced quickly because all of science dropped everything because your president wanted them to, and they did everything right with clinical trials. You wouldn't stand in front of your burning house and tell the fire department, hold on, you got fellas here suspiciously fast. Colbert on a roll. One potential side effect of the coronavirus vaccine is that people are exposed to the idea that government can get things done. Trevor chiming in, I don't know why Trump isn't promoting the vaccine. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to help Joe Biden in the pandemic. You know, maybe he's still trying to unload all that hydroxychloroquine that he bought last summer. The question is, why are Republicans so hesitant to get the vaccine in the first place? Well, it might be because their most trusted friends are telling them it can't be trusted. Trevor, I'm surprised that Trump isn't making an effort to get people vaccinated. I mean, the man barely did his job when he had his job. You think he's going to start working now for free? From Indy100.com, your home for comedy news, comedian Bill Burr's wife has shared a fiery response to a Twitter user who suggested that the couple's marriage could be a, quote, sign of racism, unquote. Bill Burr was criticized for making a number of, quote, offensive comments, unquote, while presenting the Latino categories at the Grammys on Sunday night. His remarks set him up for a fierce online backlash, with a number of viewers branding him a racist. However, one person pointed out that the comedian's wife, actor and director Nia Hill, is a black woman. They tweeted a photo of the couple with the caption, Gen Z calling Bill Burr a racist, Bill Burr and his beautiful wife, Nia. Oh, this gets worse. One Twitter user responded, quote, a white man having a non-white wife can sometimes be a sign of racism. The horrible person added, you shouldn't assume someone isn't racist just because they own a minority sex servant. What is wrong with you? They may very well have one because they're racist. Nia Hill chimed in and wrote, B, shut the F up. Unbelievable. People are just idiots. Switching gears from the Daily Beast, Nate Bargatze is on the Laugh Last podcast this week. He spoke about his new Netflix special. He talked about putting a new hour together and how he thinks to himself, I'm the worst comedian ever. You can't think of anything new, and you're like, I'm awful. I'm an awful comedian. Those thoughts don't go away. You definitely have moments of like, I'm pretty good. And then you have moments of like, you're out of your mind, dude. You're terrible. So it's a hard balance to figure all that stuff out. He filmed the show during the pandemic. He said, I was like dying to get out and I wanted to do it safely. You don't want to get crushed by everybody being like, why are you going out? And then Netflix came back and said, look, we think we can tape this special now. We have a way to do it. He shot it last October outside Universal Studios in Hollywood with a socially distanced crowd of just 100 fans. They had to keep their masks on the whole time. Nate found the first show a little rough, but he managed to slow down and nail his second performance of the hour that night, producing what the Daily Beast calls the first great stand-up hour of the COVID era, complete with jokes about the perils of coughing in public and people who are convinced they had the virus long before it came to the U.S. I've been looking forward to watching this one. I'm having a particularly busy week, but I don't know. No, I can't tonight. I got to drive the kids to soccer practice, maybe on the weekend. Nate is reluctant to give himself too much credit. He says, I'm always aware all this could just go away. All this could fall apart at any minute. I always feel like that. I don't think you ever want to take anything for granted. From TMZ, Pete Davidson is not married. You got it? Pete Davidson not married. Daily Comedy News wants to make clear Pete Davidson not married. Is Pete Davidson married, you ask? No, he's not. Pete Davidson is not married, despite a news release stating he founded a production company with a longtime lady friend and got hitched. A production company called Bodega Cats, claiming to be Pete's, sent out a press release Tuesday with a bombshell that the SNL star got hitched. The release said Pete and Michelle were childhood friends prior to starting Bodega Cats Presents and are married. Pete's reps told TMZ Pete is not married, and the press release was quickly yanked. Fascinating, right? There's going to be more to that. I've been doing this a long time. Not this podcast. I've been, on the planet a long time. There's going to be more to that. But I want to be clear, Pete Davidson, not married. From the Laugh Button, Atlanta, that's the Donald Glover series. Who doesn't love Donald Glover? It'll be returning to FX for seasons 3 and 4. They're going to shoot them back to back. An FX suit says one of the new seasons will be taking place far away from Atlanta in Europe. He says one of them shoots primarily in Europe and one primary in Atlanta. It's the intent to shoot them all at one time, back to back. However, the availability has been pushed back because of COVID. That had to do with our sense of when we could return to work safely, and then we had to coordinate all the cast for what is shooting 2 seasons at once. Heartbreakingly for me, it has been pushed back a little bit. But at some point, you'll get 2 more seasons of Atlanta. That's pretty cool. From The Hollywood Reporter, Everybody Hates Chris is getting a new life as an animated series. You're like, why? And I'm like, why? Who knows? CBS Studios is developing a reboot of the critically acclaimed UPN CW comedy, UPN, wow, about Chris Rock's childhood. But it'll be a cartoon. I wonder if he'll have like a magic bird and pandas and live in a treehouse. That would be amazing. I'm upbeat today. I wasn't feeling that great yesterday. Today I feel good. And I remembered to bring my phone down so we can see what's happening with comedy's top dog. This week, 3-time defending champion John Mulaney. He is in the hole to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle with the early lead. Let's see what the new comments are. So I'm going to Instagram at Daily Comedy News. The guy that runs the page made this nice graphic. It says top dog. It's got a picture of John Mulaney and Dave Chappelle. Right after I finished recording yesterday, like minutes later, Fashion Lurker joined in and said, Chappelle, where do we go from here? And I told Fashion Lurker, if Chappelle wins, I have a plan. It's all part of the plan. That's not a clue. It's just a line the Joker says that I like. Catahoua Dog says, oh, sorry, Mulaney, you're going down. Chappelle for the gold. Vista Johnson's, come on, Dave Chappelle. The Frothcast Chappelle. Chappelle out to a huge lead. Could this be the end for John Mulaney? You know, just an Adobe contest I made up to get people to engage with my Instagram page. I'm sure John Mulaney will continue to have a successful career. It won't be the end of John Mulaney, but Dave Chappelle winning the contest. If you want to rally John Mulaney, Instagram at Daily Comedy News. From Chortle, audio of all 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers are coming out on LP. Yeah, vinyl. Because, you know, I want to sit around next to the record player and listen to Fawlty Towers. And didn't they pull one of the episodes because it was like racist? All 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers are to be released as a full vinyl LP collection for the first time. The release includes a 12-inch print signed by John Cleese, and it'll be limited to 1,500 copies. It comprises the original 4 BBC vinyl albums, which were called Fawlty Towers, Second Sitting, At Your Service, and A la Carte, plus 2 newly created collections, Plat du Jour and Enjoy Your Stay, to cover all the episodes. This story from Chortle. They include a narration from the late Andrew Sachs as Manuel, which is unique to the vinyl versions and hasn't been available since the original pressings. You got your wallet out. This will cost you $89.99 in pounds. Should I get out the converter? Let's get out the converter. As I'm recording, 90 pounds sterling is $125.50 in United States dollars. Those of you listening in other countries, you will need to do your own conversions. So, you know, $125 Yanks if you want to listen to Fawlty Towers on vinyl. Sure. Staying on that side of the pond, does anybody actually use that phrase? Like, I know it comes up, but like, does anybody actually use who cares? Friday is Red Nose Day 2021. Red Nose Day is a campaign to end child poverty, one nose at a time, through the power of entertainment. Red Nose Day raises money and awareness to ensure children who need help are the most safe, healthy, and educated in America and around the world. Comic Relief and Acast are mashing some podcasts together to support Red Nose Day 2021. The podcast mashups include Menus to be Buried With. This is a mash of Off Menu with Ed Gamble and James Acaster. Mashed with Films to be Buried with Brett Goldstein. All right, I like it. Next one, Emergency Questions with Joan and Jerica. This is Dear Joan and Jerica, mashed with RHLSTP. I don't know that one. Next mashup, Drunk Women Caught Red-Handed. It's a mashup of Red-Handed and Drunk Women Solving Crime. All right, next one, Hip Hop Save the Horn Section. It's a mashup of the Horn Section with Hip Hop Save My Life. And Toaster Questions Everything. A mashup of Dane Baptiste Questions Everything with My Mate Bought a Toaster. I want to do this now. So we've got Daily Comedy News. I'm looking at my podcast app. I want to mash up with Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. So we would have Daily Comedy News Needs a Friend. And then I get to work with Conan. Never worked with him. Never met him. Mike Schur has created a lot of the iconic sitcoms over the last decade and a half, I'll call it now. The Good Place is over. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's about to end. But fans of Mike Schur will be happy to know that he's a new show in the can. It's on its way to Peacock. It's called Rutherford Falls, so all that's good, but it stars Ed Helms, who, sorry, Ed Helms, man, the writing on the last few years of The Office with your character just killed Ed Helms for me, and I don't think it's Ed's fault. Seems like a good guy. He's great in The Hangover. He was okay in the early seasons of The Office, but those last 3-4 years of Andy, like, I see Ed Helms and I just tune out. Ed Helms and Gina Schmiedling as two childhood best friends who literally hit a crossroads in their relationship as their town is forced to deal with an unexpected wake-up call, namely a historic statue that's become a constant source of traffic accidents, and judging by the trailer, the local residents don't appear to be a big fan of change. Here's the official synopsis. A small town in the Northeast and the Native American reservation it borders are turned upside down when local legend and town namesake Nathan Rutherford, played by Ed Helms, fights the moving of a historical statue. Rutherford Falls is created and executive produced by Michael Schur, Ed Helms, and some other people, blah, blah, blah. It premieres April 22nd on Peacock. My question here is, what makes NBC decide something goes to NBC proper, like Mr. Mayor, and what makes them push something to Peacock? Because I'm sure they want to grow Peacock. So are they putting the best stuff on Peacock or the best stuff on NBC? That would be my question there. I don't know, but I'm curious about it. If you like what I do here, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Vote Chappelle Mulaney, Instagram at Daily Comedy News. Follow the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your shows. Catch you tomorrow.